All right, Algebra 1, 3-1A to 3-1D review quiz. Here's your answers. Go ahead and check those out real quick. Pause the video and only look at the ones you need. So if you only need a couple of these, just fast forward to those problems and just watch those problems. So here you go. I'm going to start going over them. So whichever ones you need to see, go ahead and fast forward to those problems. All right, so here we go. Number one. We are going to start this. First of all, we look for our distributive property. We know we have distributive property by parentheses. No parentheses means combined like terms. Again, that's talking about on both sides of the equal sign. So over here, no like terms. Over here, we only have one term. So then we start moving stuff. So we move the number that does not have a variable. So that means getting rid of this -1. So that means I will add 1 to both sides. Add 1 to both sides. -1 plus 1 is 0. They cancel out. I'm going to bring down the 8m equals -161 plus 1 is -160. Last step, we want to get m by itself, so that means moving this 8. It's being multiplied, so we do the opposite, and we divide. And again, you want to keep in mind that we're always trying to do the opposite when we're getting the m by itself. 8 divided by 8 is 1, so we have 1m. And -160 divided by 8 is a -20. So there is your final answer for number 1. All right, let's keep going. Next, no distributive property, no combining like terms. We start moving things. We have to move the 9. That's a positive 9. So I will start by subtracting 9 from both sides. 9 minus 9 is 0. They're gone. 8 minus 9 is -1 equals n divided by 12. Now we need to get n by itself. This is being divided, so we will do the opposite on both sides, and we will multiply by 12. Okay, so we're going to multiply this -1 by 12. 12 times -1 is -12. And over here, 12 times 12 would be 1. This 12 divided by 12, whatever. This would be 1 right here, so 1n, or we just write n. Final answer for number 2. Number 3. First of all, distributive property. I see some parentheses here, so I'm going to take this 10 and distribute that through. 10 times 5 is 50, and 10 times n gives me a plus 10n. Remember, whenever the ending parenthesis is there, that tells us when we stop distributing. So from here on out, we just recopy whatever is left in the problem, so equals 130. Next, move the number, combining like terms. I don't see any combining like terms, so I move the number that does not have the variable, so that's the 50. So subtract 50 from both sides. Subtract 50. 50 minus 50 is 0. Those are gone. Bring down the 10n, and 130 minus 50 gives you 80. Last step, to get n by itself, this is being multiplied, so I do the opposite, and I divide. Divide both sides by 10. 80 divided by 10 is 8. So there's your final answer. N equals 8. All right, number 4. Again, I see a distributive property, so I'm going to bring down the 16 equals and then copy this or distribute this through. So -4 times -8 is 32. And -4 times n will be a -4n, or we could write this as -4n, same thing. Now we need to move the number that does not have the variable, so I have to move this 32. So -32, -32. 32 minus 32 is 0, they cancel. Over here, 16 minus 32 is a -16. And on the right-hand side, again, some people will just bring down a 4n and then go from there, but remember, the sign in front of the 4 has to stay with it, so that's a -4n. Another mistake I see happen a lot is people will add 4 to both sides to get n by itself, and they'll say the answer is -12. But remember, this 4 is being multiplied by n, so we need to do the opposite and divide. So divide by -4. -16 divided by -4 is 4, positive 4, and -4 divided by -4 is 1n. So there's your final answer for that number, which was number 4, n equals 4. Or 4 equals n, they could be written the same way. Okay, number 5, again, I don't see any distributive property because there's no parentheses, but I do have like terms. -4p minus 3p. Now, do not change the variable. Okay, that is not what's changing here. The only thing that's changing is the numbers out front. We're going to combine the numbers out front. Okay, negative 4 minus 3 is a negative 7p. Not p squared, okay? I know that's a common mistake I see a lot. We are not changing the variable, just the numbers out front. 5 minus 2p. Now, some of you will like to move the smaller variable over so you don't have any negative variables. But I'm going to move everything to the left for future problems. So I'm going to add 2p to both sides, add 2p to both sides, okay? Break out your calculator if you're not good with adding positive and negative numbers. Negative 7p plus 2p gives me a negative 5p. Equals, right-hand side, bring down my 5. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Again, that was our goal to get rid of that, so that should be a 0. Last step, I want to get p by itself. So again, this is being multiplied by p. So we do the opposite and we divide by negative 5. We're going to do that on both sides again. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1, so 1p. 5 divided by negative 5 is a negative 1. So p equals negative 1. Final answer for number 5. Number 6. All right, I have a lot of combining like terms happening here, but again, we want to stop at the equal sign. So we don't want to say, well, 7 plus 5 is 12. We're going to combine stuff over here. We're going to combine stuff over here. We don't want to cross over that equal sign because that's where the sign will change. Right? So if I move this 7 over here, it's a positive 7 here, it's a negative 7 here. All right, so we'll do that in a later step. But right here I have a negative 3v plus a 7v, which is a 4v. Again, we're only adding the numbers out front. We're not doing anything with the v. Next, over here on my right-hand side, I have a 5v, and I have another 5v. So add those. 5 plus 5 gives me 10v. Then also maybe you recognize that I have some other numbers over here that can be combined together. I have a negative 8, and I have a plus 2. Negative 8 plus 2, break out your calculator, negative 6. Now I'm left with a problem that looks just like the first and second and eventually the third and fourth ones, but you know, all I need to do is move my numbers over, my variables to the left and divide. So I need to move 10v. This is a positive 10v, so I'm going to do the opposite and subtract 10v. Subtract 10v. 10v minus 10v is 0, they cancel. 4v minus 10v is negative 6v. Right-hand side, I'm going to bring down the negative 6. Again, don't forget the negative sign. That needs to go with it. And my last step, I will get v by itself by dividing both sides by this number out front here, which is negative 6. Divide by negative 6. v equals 1. Final answer. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is 1. Number 7. So now we have a lot of stuff happening here. No big deal. Just take it one step at a time. Take your time on these, okay? You don't have to rush. But I see some distributive property that needs to happen here because I have parentheses. So let's start by bringing 7n down. And then when you multiply this through, don't forget you need to take the negative with it. Negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. Negative 6 times 6n is again negative 36, but now we have an n with it. Okay, so distribute that through. Negative 6 times 6 is negative 36. Negative 6 times 6n is negative 36n. Let's recopy the rest now. 8 minus 7n. All right, up next, I need to combine my like terms. So on the left-hand side, let's start with the left-hand side. What are my like terms? Well, 7n minus 36n, which again, we may need to break out a calculator for this one. 7n minus 36n. Okay, this is going to give us a negative 29n. Okay, negative 29n. Bring down the rest of this. Negative 36 equals 8 minus 7n. All right, now let's move our variable to the left. So I have a negative 7n right here, so we're going to do the opposite and add 7n to both sides. Add 7n to both sides. So cancel that. It's negative 7 plus 7 is 0. Over here, negative 29n plus 7n is negative 22n. Okay, negative 29 plus 7, negative 22. Let's bring down the rest of this. Minus 36 equals 8. Okay, we got two more steps here. Let me give myself a little bit more space to write here. Two more steps. Next, move the number with no variable. So add 36 to both sides. Add 36 to both sides. Bring down negative 22 and negative 36 plus 36 is 0. Those are gone. 8 plus 36 is 44. Last step to get n by itself. I'm dividing. I'm not adding 22. I'm going to divide by negative 22 because this is being multiplied by n. So I'm going to do the opposite and divide. So divide by negative 22. Negative 22 divided by negative 22 is 1, so I have 1n. 44 divided by negative 22 is negative 2. So there is your final answer for number 7. Number 8. Again, I see some distributive property happening here, so let's divide that. First of all, I will bring down my left-hand side, and let's multiply this 7 through. 7 times 7n is 49n, minus 7 times 7 is 49. Got a couple of 7s going on in there. All right, now I'm going to move my variable to the left. So this is a positive 49. I will do the opposite and subtract. Subtract 49n from both sides. So 49 minus 49 is 0. They cancel out. So over here I'm going to bring down 35. 7n minus 49n is a negative 42n. Right-hand side is a negative 49. Okay, so again, just remember to bring that negative sign down with it. Now I want to move the 35, so I'm going to subtract 35 from both sides. So subtract 35 from both sides. 35 minus 35 is 0. Those are gone. Next, bring down the negative 42n. And on my right-hand side, 49, negative 49 minus 35. You may need to break out your calculator for this. That gives you a negative 84. And we got one more step here. Divide by negative 42. Divide by negative 42. And n equals, divide those out, you should get 2. Positive 2. Okay? Final answer for number 8. All right, next one. These last two are probably the ones that have the most steps involved in them. So we will, take our time on this. We see distributive property here and over here. So let's multiply this 3 through. 3 times b is 3b. And 3 times 6 is 18. Bring down the plus 3 equals over here. Multiply this 3 through. 3 times negative 2b is negative 6b. And one more, 3 times negative 8 is a negative 24. All right, let's combine our like terms now. So on the left-hand side, my like terms are 18 and 3. So I'm going to bring down 3b first, right, from this right here, 3b, just bring that down. 18 plus 3 is 21. Right-hand side, negative 6b minus 24. So let's move the variable to the left. This is a negative 6b, so I will do the opposite and add 6b. Let's start over here. 3b plus 6b is 9b plus 21 equals negative 6b plus 6b is 0. They cancel out. Let's bring down the negative 24. Now we need to move the number with no variable, so that's the 21. It's a positive 21, so again, I will do the opposite and subtract 21 from both sides. 21 minus 21 is 0. Those are gone. Bring down 9b. And my right-hand side, again, use your calculator if you need to, is a negative 45. And one more step, divide both sides by 9. Divide by 9. And b equals negative 5. And again, this will be the most amount of steps that you could expect to see in any of these problems. And you'll probably only see about 2 of them because they do take a lot more time than like the first ones. But like I said, you'll have 2 easy, couple medium, couple hard. But again, just follow your steps. So just make sure you're following your steps that you need to solve equations. Okay, one more, last problem here. Again, we have distributive property on both sides. So 7 times 5a is 35a. And 7 times a negative 2 gives me negative 14. Right-hand side, 8 times 7a is 56a, and 8 times negative 7 is negative 56. All right, now we need to move our variable to the left like we've been doing. Okay, so we're going to take that 56 right here, 56a, we're going to move it over. It's a positive 56, so I'm going to do the opposite and subtract 56a. So subtract 56a. From both sides. 56 minus 56, this is a 0, so those are canceled. 35a minus 26a is a negative, 35a minus 56a is a negative 21a. I think I said 26, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Bring down the rest of it, so negative 14. These canceled over here, so they're gone, and I have a negative 56 to bring down. Okay, 2 more steps. Move the negative 14. It's a negative, so I have to do the opposite and add. Add 14 to both sides. Cancel those out. Left-hand side, negative 21a. Right-hand side, negative 56 plus 14 is a negative 42. Last step, divide by negative 21 on both sides. Divide by negative 21. A equals 2. Final answer, and we are done. All right, and another thing that I want to stress and point out to you is that for all of these problems, you can always take your final answer, bring it back up to the original, and plug it in for A, and show that both sides are equal. Okay, so if you have extra time on your quiz, you can always do that just to make sure that you have these correct. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. But again, if there are any of these problems that after watching the video you were still a little unsure about or you still had questions on, let me know, send me an email, send me a private comment, and I will get back to you and help you out.